with 5 new tips on how to optimize your Ally. First one is how to add Hibernate. Basically restores your previous session in Windows, and it's fast as well, and it doesn't use the battery. It's like sleep, but with sleep mode it uses the battery, but it's not enabled by default Windows. So to do it, press the start key, and then go to control panel, and then we'll go to power options, and then you click this one here, choose what the power buttons do. This will take you into this screen. You need to press this shield here, which will allow you to get down to the shutdown settings. And what you want to do is enable Hibernate here, then save changes. And then what you'll see is in this area, the Hibernate button. And I use this. Next one is for all you people that have SD cards. On mine, I do have an SD card. The problem with it with Windows though is Windows doesn't recognize it as being an SD card. It thinks it's another hard drive, which means that it's going to want to defrag it. Not good at all. You don't want to be defragging your SD card. Go to this PC, and then if you've got your SD card there, right click on it, properties, then go to tools, and then optimize. And this will bring you into the defrag menu. Change settings on the scheduled optimization. You can run a schedule, and it's probably best to leave the frequency like that. But what you want to do is go to the drives and choose and unselect your SD card, because then it won't automatically try and optimize it. So that's tip number 2. Core isolation and VM disable. Basically by default it's like an extra security measure, and core isolation puts some parts of the Windows processes into a virtual area. This will increase or decrease performance. So what you want to do is get that disabled. So if you go here and then type core isolation or just core, it'll come up here. So turn that to off. It'll probably say save, and then you'll need to restart for that to take effect. In addition to that, it's good to disable the virtualization as well. If you just type Windows, you'll see turn Windows features on and off. So click that. This will bring you up to this menu, and what you want to do is remove virtual machine platform. So untick that, click OK, and then do a restart. You will have to put your biometrics back in though, so your fingerprint, if you've got that enabled, but it's definitely better, and it will increase your performance over the whole system. So definitely recommend that one. Number 4 is GHelper, which is this software here. So what this does, by default, like the Ally basic, the Ally version does this as well, silent, balance and turbo, but it's not as fine-tuned. For example, what the Ally one doesn't do is manage the Windows power settings in unison with what you've actually got it on. So if we go to this area here, fans and power, then you've got your settings here. So turbo is turbo. So we'll have a look at the silent one first. So I basically got it going to Windows power mode as best power efficiency. And then I've always disabled the CPU boost, which is another good thing that GHelper does that you don't get as standard. You have to mess around with the registry to get that option up. But with all the testing that I've done, it's best to keep it disabled because it just keeps the heat down, it keeps things consistent, and for gaming you're going to get better battery life with that disabled, because there'll be more power then for the actual GPU, and that's where the limit is with this machine. It's not the CPU, it's actually the GPU, it's the bottleneck. So you can have it disabled on each one and then just set your settings. And for mine I've got 9 watts on silent, and then balanced is 17 watts, again with Windows balanced power profile, and then with the turbo I'm using 25, and then power mode is best performance. Disabled CPU boost on all of them. So for example, what I'll do, I'll show you. So if you go down here and then you look at the power mode, you can see here it's on best power efficiency. So if I move this over, it goes to balanced. and then I go to turbo best performance. With the Ally version, if you put it on silent, it'll always stay to, I think silent it stays on balanced, and then it does best performance on the other two, which you don't want at all really. It's just really inefficient. In addition, if you go to the extra button here, so there's a boot sound, isn't there, when you start it up? You can disable that without needing to go into the BIOS, so that's nice. So I've taken that off, and it also stops all the Asus services running, and I think there's like 11. The reason that you can see one here on mine is the fact that I like to have this functionality still because it's good when in game. So to keep that on, you need one of the services running. To get onto the services, I mean, should you want to do updates and things through Asus, which you don't actually need to do anymore, because the other bonus with this is if you click updates here, you can see it tells you where all the updates. So the green are the good ones. The ones it doesn't know about are grey, but that's like the networking things and whatnot. But it does say there is a 3.3.4 BIOS update, but I'm on 3.3.3 at the moment. If you did want it, you can just click on it, and it'll just download it for you anyway. So you don't even need the Asus stuff anymore. And again, it's using all these services on the background that you don't want. So to get to the services, if you press start and then services, you can see here that there's a shed load of Asus ones, and what the button does here, it just stops them all. But to restart them is pretty easy, because if you want to keep the overlay going like this, you need to have the Armory Crate SE service running. So that'll be disabled. So you just right click on it, go to properties, then you change the startup type to automatic, and then you press start and then OK, and then it will run when Windows starts, and it runs as you do it as well. And then you also need Asus optimization as well, because it used to be just one service, but now it requires those two. So if you just start running them, then yeah, you can still use the overlay if that's what you want to do. But it's definitely great though, guys. I've been using this for a while, and it's definitely much better than the default one that Asus provides. So yeah, you can do the battery charge limit as well, and loads of other things. By the way, this GPU mode, you don't need to worry about it, because the Asus has got an integrated GPU anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. Tip 5, which is something called Nosey Blo, and one of the viewers called Micah1557, he recommended to use this Nosey Blo, and I thought I'd give it a try. On to the next bit is Nosey Bloat, and by the way, I'll tell you how to install Nosey Blo and G Helper should you want him in the next piece. So this is a bit of software, sorry, Bloat Nosey it's called, that goes through a load of stuff within Windows that you don't really need, and it's kind of classed as bloatware because it's all stuff that Microsoft put on. You don't really need it. I left it all on default except for the one at the bottom, which is bloatware, and it does say, look, Asus, so that will get rid of the apps and things like Armory Crate if you leave that on. So I disabled that. And then what you do next, you go to analyze. I mean, when you do this on yours, there's going to be a shed load of things on this list. I've already done mine, and you can see it's nice and clean. But then when you do that, you go to fix, and it cleans it all up for you. It runs some command prompts and gets rid of all the rubbish. I definitely recommend running it again when you've restarted as well, because when I did that with mine, it did find a couple more things. So definitely worth doing that. And then down here, you've got something called Bloat Pilot as well. And this, I mean, mine's all cleaned up now, but you might see a load of stuff here, but you need to be kind of careful what you're removing. I mean, all this stuff I've left because I kind of feel that it needs it. But there will be a load of things, like you might see like Notepad or something like that that you don't necessarily want. But you can just click that, move it over, and it adds up into this, and then you just click empty bin and remove apps. And it's, yeah, nice little bit of software that is. Going on to installing G Helper and Bloat Nosey. So if you go to your web browser put the links up in the description if we can, but I've already got them here, all that bit. Right, so G helper is here. So if you type that in, you'll get to this page and you'll get the latest version. So you go to download app. That will store it as a zip file into your downloads folder, and then you can, when that's downloaded, you can right click extract all, and that will, when you go through with that, it'll basically come to this page here, and then you've got your ghelper.exe. What you can do is, it's probably a good idea to move this into another folder, another part, or otherwise it'll always be living in your downloads folder. I've left mine because it's not really a problem. And it's the same principle with Bloat Nosey as well. So that is here. And you get to this page, tells you all about it, and then you click the zip. Again, that will download into your folder. You just need to unzip it, and then you'll end up with this, and then you just double click on it and away you go. And that's it, guys. Well, I hope this was of use to you. I'll no doubt be making some more videos, so all the best, and I'll probably see you on the next one.